Hi everyone, this is Chris from Bar Above, and today we're continuing our focus on proper technique for cocktail bars. So in the previous video on mixing, we covered the fact that if it's something is spirit-based, you want to go ahead and stir that. Now if you've introduced any kind of egg whites, cream, or citrus juice at all, anything cloudy, you want to go ahead and shake. Now shaking is going to go ahead and accomplish a couple different things. First of all, it's going to integrate the ingredients together very well. And another thing is it's going to go ahead and chill and dilute the cocktail down substantially. So if you utilize an all-metal shaking set like I do, or if you have a pint glass that uses the bottom or a cheater tin, it's completely up to you or the place you work at. For me, I personally prefer all-metal because there's been too many times where a pint glass is shattered on me when I shake it or try and seal it, and at the very least it breaks in my ice and I have to kind of scoop it all out and be out of service for a couple of minutes, and I've actually had to go to the hospital to get stitches a couple different times. So that's my own personal reason for using all metal. You don't have those variables anymore. Now either way, when you begin to build your drink, you want to utilize a smaller portion to put all your contents in. If you were to utilize the bigger portion and create all your cocktails in here, you have a lot more volume that you can fill up. And when you go to seal the drink, or seal the shaking tin, the top of this will actually get sealed right about here. And if your cocktail goes above that, when you go to shake, it's just going to get everywhere, either on you if you do it right, or on your guests if you point it in the wrong direction. So get in the habit of building in your smaller tin. So now that you have your cocktail created and you have ice in your smaller glass here, all you have to do is seal it. And all you have to do is line it up and put a little pressure on top of it. And a lot of bartenders like to do it at a small angle like this. I personally prefer it to go straight up and down. It's just a personal preference. But if you do a little bit of bow, it's a lot easier and it'll still give a really good seal. At this point, all you're going to do is give it a good amount of shaking. You want to put a lot of energy into this. There's been too many bartenders I've seen that have just kind of done a weak shake, and it's not really doing much. You're not really incorporating a lot of energy into the cocktail. You're not mixing the ingredients well together. So you really want to put some pressure in there, and you want to get those ingredients both properly chilled and diluted and incorporated as well. Now there's a couple of techniques that I've seen for this. The first is very high up, where you're shaking really, really aggressively, or kind of like, I believe it's more of a European style or a Japanese style, where they shake a little bit lower here. And that'll put a lot less pressure on your elbows. So if you suffer from tennis elbows like a lot of craft bartenders do, that might be something you want to incorporate, is kind of a lower shake. But either way, you really want to put a lot of pressure in. You want to put a lot of energy and incorporate those ingredients together. So now that we've chilled and incorporated all of our ingredients together, now's the time to open up our mixing tin. And it's actually really easy. So you're going to grab the mixing tin with the palm of your hand on the big portion, and you're going to wrap 2 fingers around it, and then your pointer and your middle finger to the top. Now your 2 top fingers here are actually going to be pushing this direction, and you're going to be hitting this direction, and that should break the seal easily. So for example, and now it's open. Usually the blow by itself is enough to kind of break the seal, but if it needs a little extra encouragement, that's what it's there for. Now for one practical piece of advice, now that we have this open, the first thing you want to do is get in the habit of marrying the 2 tins together. The reason for this is when you're done and you're done straining, and you put this on your work surface, you're taking a lot less space up on your work surface, and it just looks a lot more polished and professional. So that's a practical reason of why you want to join those 2 pieces together. Now, when you go to strain, you want to start to utilize your Hawthorne strainer for this job. The reason for it is the Hawthorne strainer actually has extra coils to it, which can help filter out other ingredients like pulp and fibers or protein fibers from egg whites. The julep strainer can do it as well, but you want to get in the habit of utilizing a Hawthorne strainer for this job. Now, if we were to go ahead and just pour this right into our final martini glass here, or coupe glass, what you'll notice is there's a thin layer of ice crystals that'll form right on the top, and it will actually dilute down the cocktail much faster. Some people actually like to say that they want to skate across the top and that's a customer preference. But for us, what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate a fine strainer here. So the fine strainer is meant to catch all of those small particles and anything that the coils from your Hawthorne strainer missed. So you can actually, I don't think you can see it on film, but there's actually a thin layer of ice crystals at the bottom of this fine strainer that haven't gone into my drink. So this is something to keep in mind and something to practice at work, and you'll definitely notice it the first time you do it. So those are the proper techniques for shaking a cocktail. So just as with mixing or stirring a cocktail, you should be confident in doing a cocktail shake with either hand. And definitely you should be able to do 2 cocktails at the same time. So in order to do 2 cocktails at once, not much is really changing. So you're going to go ahead and build your cocktails. You're going to fill them with ice, and you're just going to seal them the way you normally would. Now, from here on out, you're going to grab the shaking tin with just 2 fingers and then 2 fingers on the top. And then keep your thumb on the inside of it to kind of hold everything together. You're going to have a little control over it if the thing starts to break open on you. Now, from this point, I see a lot of bartenders adding a little personal flair and kind of grabbing the attention of their customers by banging the 2 things together like this. And that'll definitely send the message of, all right, here we go, it's showtime. Now, there's a couple different techniques for doing this. It's all about personal interpretation at this point. So a lot of bartenders will do this, what I call the double pump, whatever you want to call it, or the piston, where they go offset. And I recently saw a bartender kind of do something I haven't seen before, and that is a different kind of style where he'll shake one underneath one arm and over the other, and then alternate, just like that. And kind of grabbed my attention and showed me that he's extremely confident in what he's doing. He obviously is very skilled, and I'm going to have a good drink tonight. So when you're done shaking, everything else is going to pretty much apply the same exact way. You're going to break it open, you're going to marry the 2 pieces together, and then fine strain. So with anything anything shaken, you want to get in the habit of fine straining to get those small particles out. So in a few weeks, we'll have another series dedicated to something completely focused on developing your skills behind the cocktail bar. But until then, I hope you guys have a great shift, and cheers. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Google+, or visit us at abarabove.com.